Hi y'all. I've been on this channel for a little while, so I'm back. How have y'all been? Sorry, it's been a little while. I'll just wait for a few more people to join and we'll start the discussion. I'm gonna take my silver while I'm sitting here. I have to take my elixirs. So let's talk about DNA evolving into crystalline and what exactly this means. What exactly does this mean? So many people are into that love and light, new age stuff that they don't even realize what they're saying. To evolve into a crystalline body, what does that mean? Let's see how smart some people are. What is a crystalline body? Have y'all even thought about that? Because I had someone talking about, oh, we're gonna all evolve into crystalline bodies. Not everyone is at the same stage of evolution, first of all. Some people need one more step before they can do that. Okay. So many people are trying to use other words for what other things mean. Okay. People keep using the wrong words, and it's confusing so many people. That's why I have to get up here and tell y'all the truth. A crystalline body is a eumelanated body. Yep. I'll say it again for those in the back. Oh, my baby said she loved me. I love you too, Layla. Crystalline body is a melanated body. The body of Christ, the body of Christos, is melanin. So before you get all excited about going into the crystalline state, you just need some melanin. That's all that is. So many people think they're going to turn into this light body. What do you think melanin is? What do you think melanin absorbs? What do you think melanin is on your skin absorbing when you go outside? Is that light? What do you think they see under a microscope when they look at melanin? They see crystals because it's a crystalline body. So I was on Instagram and this lady was like, we don't need you blacks, you melanin. We're all going to evolve into the DNA of the crystalline body. Okay. Well, first you need to figure out how you're going to evolve past needing sunblock. Then you might become a light body. Okay. So don't get caught up in the new age love and light crap and that keeps using the wrong words. The word that they use for melanin is crystalline. Okay. So if you change the vocabulary around, you have a bunch of people that are sitting around singing kumbaya, talking about we're going to evolve into a crystalline body, but they don't even like crystalline people. Don't even like Christos people. Claim to love Jesus Christ, but don't even know what Christ or Christos or anointed with melanin is. Because they're so used to changing up stuff, rewriting history, and, waiting on this DNA change that's not going to happen miraculously. You got to do some DNA exchanging, okay? So, yes, I just want to clear this part up because so many people are still clueless, and it is 2020. It is not a time to be clueless. So, not a time to be clueless. Thank you for the donation, Deanna. Sprinkle, sprinkle. She sent me something. Mhm. I was meditating one day and traveled through my body. All I saw was crystals, different sizes and colors. Cool. Because it's a crystalline body. Mm-hmm. You said you got to unlock mind, body chakras for the shift. Yeah, they have to be going at the right frequency. And in order for that to be at a certain frequency, your body got to be at a certain frequency, which means it has to hold a certain amount of light, which means it has to have a certain amount of U melanin. So, it's all science. It's all science, and people really don't look up the definitions of words. They don't look up a lot of stuff. They just go by what sounds right or what sounds good, but they don't do their extensive research. So, I don't know what to tell them. So, the DNA is what is going to evolve. So, as a crystalline being already, you are already a light body. You are already a crystalline. You just have to realize it and wake up and allow, there's more light coming through right now. And you who are already crystalline are absorbing it and getting information, ideas, your DNA is being upgraded on a daily basis because the shift is already, here. So daily, you're getting your upgrades, but you still have a lot of people waiting and sitting around to become crystalline. But you got to do more than sit around to get that DNA. So a lot of people believe that they're trying to inject people with melanin, like synthetic melanin or a form of melanin, feed it to them through their food products or the virus or whatnot, to try to see if they can upgrade them in that way, but it doesn't work that way. So, the real crystalline people already have their light body. So, this is the light body. It absorbs light. Okay. Because they wouldn't call it a body if it didn't have a body. You know what I mean? They would just call it an energy or a soul or a spirit. They wouldn't call it a body if it didn't have a body. So a light body is a body that absorbs and holds and emits light. And that would be a eumelated person. Thank you, Goddess. Sprinkle, sprinkle. You helped me change my life. Oh, thank you. I'm glad I helped you change your life. Girl, you did all the work. I just talked on camera. So thank you for subscribing and listening. So you've been waking up for the last month feeling like I'm in a whole different world. Everything seems new now. Yeah. That's what happens when you wake up. Do I think MJ sold his melanin? You can't sell your DNA because, if you have melanin, you melanin in your DNA, it keeps reproducing over and over. Over and over and over. So, and if you do the research on how melanin works, it does not work in other people who do not naturally produce melanin themselves, like eumelanin themselves. It shuts down. So you can't even sell it. It's only a synthetic version that's temporary and makes the other person sick. Basically, it doesn't really do anything. It temporarily darkens your skin, but that's about it. So, yeah, that's all it is. Now, if you do have a little eumelanin or melanin, you can increase what you already have with minerals and things like that. But the DNA is what needs to be upgraded. And you said, what about Latino melanin? Do you need sunblock? Are you a light body? That's the point. If you need sunblock, you are not a light body. That's the point. If you need sunblock, you are not crystalline. Um, so I don't think it matters what you claim, as long as you are a light body, you good. There you go. Now, there's still time for people to become light bodies, of course. But you know what you got to do that. It's not just going to magically be bestowed upon you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, we don't sell it. We give it away freely. Cord, blood, banking, urine, ancestry tests, hair, saliva, making children. Yep. All of the above. Um, what is my take on solar eclipse in the light body? I don't know. On Avatar, they lost their power. The Fire Nation lost their power when there was a solar eclipse. But I think that's just a metaphor for, when the sun is blocked to a certain degree, you lose energy, which now is being restored. There's more light coming in due to, taking, certain layers off the earth, certain veils from around the earth. More light is coming in. So, right. What do you think if the blackout that is expected to happen? I don't think it'll last very long because people want to know so much that it has to be turned back on because that's how a lot of people make money. What do you think? Yeah, I think it won't last very long. You had an accident today, or maybe it's a good thing. I don't always think it's negative. Do you have insurance? Can you get another car? Can you get a better car? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes things teach you to prepare in advance because sometimes, like, people that plan for the future, when something like that happens, they just get an upgrade. You know what I'm saying? People that have already contemplated that driving is a risk, they've already taken care of, that. So, depending on your level of consciousness, depending on how you think about things, it could be your karma. But to someone else that thinks ahead and plans ahead and understands the risks involved with doing certain things, it's either an upgrade or they're lucky that they survived, So, depending on your mindset is what you'll see. I don't know. Oh, you're talking about that kind of blackout, girl. I think it's supposed to be on July 4th. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, we are crystalline already. We're good. We're already evolved because we already have crystalline DNA. See, you'll have a lot of these light bodies, light workers and, fake gurus and stuff making them stupid robot videos talking about this message came from somebody, archangel, something. And all they're really telling you is that the same thing I'm telling you with real words and real science. They're not going to give you all the detail because they don't make money off of that. They're not going to tell you the truth what a crystalline body is. They're not going to tell you what a light body is and why they call it a light body. They're just going to say light body. And most people just assume that's a soul or some type of ethereal being, but it's not. Thank you, Shima. Hey Shira, I keep waking up with markings, bruises on my right arm. I am a dreamer. Prophecy runs in my family. I also see alchemy symbols in my dreams. Any suggestions on how to understand this? Well, mind is very powerful. So if you're living in a reality, if you're in a different realm, if your dreams are very realistic, then the things in them are also realistic to your mind. And your mind controls your body. So that's science as well. Sometimes you can get a leg amputated, but it will still itch because it's your mind. Your mind is causing those things in your dream because you are dreaming, and it's so real to you. Mm-hmm. You keep waking up with bruises. Yeah. That happens when you astral travel and when your dreams are very realistic and you go in and out of different realms. You can get some bumps and scratches. Mm-hmm. Just throwing it. Yeah. I don't think it's anything to be afraid of. I just think it's something to be aware of. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that used to happen to me a lot too, but like once you learn how to control your dreams, your it happens less. It's you have to conquer that aspect of the dream realm or whatever astral place you're traveling to. Hmm. So does the crystalline upgrade you? If you brown, if you already have melanin, you are already crystalline. It's just the amount of light that it's going to be let in will upgrade and activate your crystalline DNA. You already have it. So you asked if it will help mental illness. It may. Who knows? I guess you'll have to wait and see. Um, and I don't know. Sometimes mental illness is not really mental illness. Sometimes it is. It just depends. So basically, this video is trying to tell people that some people are already crystalline. They just don't know it because they've been lied to and the wrong words are being used. I mean, think about this. If you were a new age guru and you had to make money or you had to tell people, the earth was evolving, the people are evolving on earth, you could not get in a bunch, you could not get in a room, a bunch of people and say, you need melanin. You need some melanin. That's what crystalline body is. That's what a light body is. You need some melanin. You need to activate. You need to get some melanin in your DNA to activate your crystalline light body. If you got in a room full of people that didn't already have melanin, what do you think that they would do? They would laugh and walk out. So instead, you use a different language. You tell them light body. Just like you get in a church and you tell people you need to receive Christ, the body of Christ into you, the blood of Christ into you. But if you were to say, hey, the blood of Christ is melanin, you need to mix your white DNA into brown DNA, they would get up and leave the church. They can't make any money off that. So they sit and they lie and they give people false hope and they tell people in different words what they need, but they're not even walking towards. And at the end of the day, you'll have people saying, oh, Jesus this and Jesus that. Oh, I'm a crystalline. Oh, this and that. And they're nowhere near that. So I would be more upset at the false teachings from your own people who are not giving you the real information or the science behind it and expect you to figure it out. And you still haven't even gotten close to figuring it out. You know, all you have to do is read a science paper on melanin to realize that crystalline is you melanin. Scientists know. That's why they're trying to develop it. So, you know, in some form or fashion, but it keeps failing. You study the number meanings, and 44, that's the angelic number. Yep. Angels represent angles of light coming in. New knowledge, new enlightenment coming in right now on the planet. Less clouds being sprayed over the sun, veils being removed, crystalline people being activated. Here's the thing. If you already have melanin, yes, the sun will help activate your DNA. If you don't have melanin, you have to get some. Like, you have to mix. You have to have a baby that has melanin, and to get into your bloodstream if you're a woman. You have to create offspring with it. That is how you evolve into crystalline. You personally will have to evolve through your children. Thank you, KB. Sprinkle, sprinkle. You have an 8-year-old nephew that sees spirits normally around fall time. How do you talk to children to make them feel comfortable with their gift? Did you ever have this? Yeah, thank you, KB. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Yeah, I used to see stuff like that all the time when I was a child. Most adults won't believe you. So I just say listen and believe them. There's nothing you can really do to tell them not to be afraid. Most of them aren't really afraid. If you just tell them, you're just seeing into a different dimension. You're just seeing energy in a different dimension. Some people don't have eyes to see that. Your eyes are special. I used to see that all the time. Like, ooh. And, as you get older, it goes away because you're learning new stuff and, dismissing the old stuff. But definitely, it's just seeing into another dimension. But yeah, crystalline body is a melanated body, baby. I don't know, like, every time I turn on one of them cheesy channels, I'm like, what the heck y'all talking about? You mean melanin? I don't even think they know. Like, seriously, I think they really don't even realize what they're saying. Like, do they even study the science behind it? Or do they just only repeat the spirituality of it? Because evolution is physical and spiritual. So to ignore the physical and only focus on the spiritual, you miss the whole point. Yeah. They're still using COVID to scare people. Yes. People don't care anymore. They're just like, forget it. If we die, we die. If it's real, it's real. If it ain't, oh well. So what if you have a baby with a white boy? Then the baby has crystalline if the baby is melanated. Okay. RH negative crystalline bodies. Okay, so RH negative melanated bodies, right? There are definitely aliens walking the earth currently. Yep. The only spiritual teachers that talk about melanin are you and OGs like Bobby Kennedy. I know it's a few others, but I think people are afraid to do that. A lot of people aren't totally free. So they can't say everything that they want to say. Are you glad people are forgetting about COVID? Would this make the government mad? Yeah, that's why they keep trying to say new cases. And then Trump said, stop getting tested and there won't be no new cases, which is true. Okay. Melanin is the key to being an occult scientist. That's true. There is way too much love and light, new age stuff, not enough science behind what they're saying. And so, as long as they're happy with it, if it keeps them sane and able to function on a day-to-day basis, whatever. But they're not getting the truth. It's just a pacifier. And I would be upset if somebody was lying to me that long, not even really lying, just not clarifying. But that's not even really their fault, because if you're using a word and you have no idea what it means, that's also your fault for not doing the research. So, You strongly dislike the spiritual community, right? People don't know love and light means melanin. Exactly. What do you think love means? Love is the highest frequency. What's the highest frequency between people? Melanin. Light body is melanin, because what does it absorb? Light. So people are walking around saying melanin. My DNA is gonna evolve into a crystalline body. My DNA is gonna evolve to a melanated body. Okay. So you gotta understand, when you hear these words, you need to translate them, you need to decode them. And there's not even decode, you need to just define them. That's it. There is no code in it. Just learn the definition. What will happen to the society once people start activating? Honestly, I believe that knowledge is going to heavily increase in the crystalline beings to solve so many issues. And it'll be kind of like how ancient Kemet was. They had it so much advanced. I'm basically Wakanda, baby. Just Wakanda. And with this knowledge, a lot of these, new technologies are only going to be able to be used by crystalline people, and only going to be safe for crystalline people. That's why they're trying to make all these robots to transfer the remaining people who have not evolved into crystalline beings yet into a robot, so that their consciousness can live on. And maybe their DNA will be used in some type of artificial insemination process or whatnot. I don't know. But, all right. It seems that people would have kind of told more if they wanted, more people evolving. But there was always that separation and that false superiority. And when that false superiority took over, people, replaced certain words with other words. And that became almost like their false icon. So just the hope of some sort of magical evolution became their icon versus what it really was. Just like the Jesus character. The Jesus character became their icon in which they worshiped, instead of understanding the science behind what he was trying to tell people. So they always take the reality and change it into fiction or an icon, because they don't want to feel as if, they have to transform or change. They want to remain in a false sense of superiority. So they can't ever recognize the living crystalline or Christos people, They have to create a statue, a character, a word, a new age spirituality in order to accept anything but the truth. So, right. You said you should have been Christian. Christian is crystalline. You can't even be a Christian if you don't have humility. You could be a follower of Christ, which means you follow what the crystalline people do. That's all that means. And the people have created new definitions for things. That's not how it was. Thank you, Tyrone Bird. Sprinkle, sprinkle. You said, thank you. You're welcome. Right. So that's just people in denial, you know. And so many people, when you worship the opposite of something, when you create something that's not there in order to avoid what is there, that's deflection. That's denial. You know how in the Bible they say, will you deny me? When people realize what they have been worshiping the whole time, what they have been praying to the entire time, what they have been manifesting to and with and for the entire time, they're going to be upset. And not at us, but at the people that lied to them. They're going to be upset at us. They're going to feel bad. Why do you think they have that crazy cult of people going around washing Black people's feet and those protests talking about forgive us, we're sorry? They know. They understand, or at least they're beginning to. So, there's different. You saying who's the God in the Bible? Well, in the Bible, it does say, thou shalt have no other God before me. And I'm sure that there was two different, because there's two brothers, right? Enlil and Enki. So I guess Enki would represent Lucifer, but Lucifer gone good. Understanding what needs to be done in order to evolve back into the higher self, you would need crystalline. So in order to do that, he has to free himself as well as all the other people, as well as free those that have been oppressed due to them being crystalline. And so that's why I compare Enki to Trump, because he's allowing all the protests and things to go down without really interrupting it. He might say something, but he's not going to do anything. So it's time for the crystalline people to awaken and take this back over, because they are going to have all the solutions and the enlightenment to do so and improve upon what is already here. And that's why these protests and calling out of the police and the mistreatment and the judgment is here, because that's why people are now talking about private police, private security companies, and doing away with the whole police idea. There's been this town or this city taken over in, was it Seattle, where they took over the police station and they renamed the city, and they started, getting fees from businesses to operate in their city. And they have people with guns that won't even let the police in. So there's some people that has taken over a whole city in America and have renamed it, took over the police station, and Chaz, that's what it's called. Yeah. Thank you, FGG. So Chaz has taken over a whole city, named it Chaz. It stands for something, but the letters stand for something. And so now people are wondering if this is going to start happening everywhere. But I see a future of privately owned security companies, like privately owned ambulance companies, if you need to call for a police type figure. Do you have any Elixir coupon codes? Thank you, Mimi's. Yes, Ashira 10, baby. Ashira 10. Sprinkle, sprinkle. So, thank you. Have you studied quantum physics, computers like you? Oh yeah, I studied quantum physics for sure. Like you need a certain amount of frequency in order to quantum tunnel, sorry, to get into other dimensions, parallel worlds, etc., etc. And so with access to those types of travel, that type of travel due to your crystalline DNA upgrades, you can work on several things at one time in different places. So it's going to be amazing to see all of this, happen and unfold. But first we have to get rid of all this, programming, and for people to recognize who, that's why the whole Black Lives Matter is going on, because that's what crystalline is. Crystalline energy also evolves the earth's energy. It works with the earth energy. If you have crystals and electromagnetic frequencies and all these things working together, that affects the entire planet. So, right, if you understand that, crystalline people not only control earth, weather, and things like that naturally, cosmically too. So it's very interesting. So to evolve into a light body, into a crystalline being, is just to evolve into a melanated person. And then your DNA gets activated by the new angles of light. Okay. Extraterrestrials. You are an extraterrestrial. You're not from here. Mm-hmm. You're from the cosmos. Therefore, you're a child of the sun. You're a light body. You did not come out of the earth. You came from the cosmos. You are the extraterrestrial. Now you mean some aliens and stuff with some spaceships and all that? Mm-hmm. Advanced technology based on electromagnetic energy. I mean, think about it. We saw a lot of stuff that was already in the works in the Black Panther movie. They flew around on spaceships. They had advanced technology because they were heavily melanated and they could use it. And they were enlightened and they were the crystalline beings. And that's why Killmonger came all the way from the US to Wakanda, because he had roots there. And he said, I want to have this too. But he was in the wrong mentality. But it was good that they met and they fought, because exchanging that type of information allowed, people to wake up and say, okay, well, we have to do more. We have to think like this. We have to think like that. We have to think more advanced. Less killing, more science, more technology, more understanding of the truth, more understanding of truth and what it means. How can you even evolve if you don't even realize what you're trying to evolve into? How can you want to evolve into a crystalline body when you hate crystalline people? That doesn't make any sense. And, no one understands what the word really means. They just say it over and over and they never do the research. The U.S. is Wakanda. Right. Well, it will be. Bone and blood is already crystalline in its core composition, but melanin is also crystalline. So the more crystalline body you are, that's the amount of evolution that you have. Thank you, Erica Dude. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Sure, I cannot thank you enough. Hubby's business is booming. Quit my job in January and life is great. So thankful to find you. Happy I caught this live. Been wanting to drop in. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Oh, thank you, girl. I'm glad. 22. Yeah. Well, girl, relax, kick your feet up, get you something to drink. Enjoy your time. I'm happy for you. Thank you. Hi. Hi, lady. Yolanda. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Okay, so a lot of people were asking me to decode that Nicki Minaj and 69 song Trolls. I'm like, trolls, y'all understand trolls. Like, literally, trolls are people that push you to the next level. Trolls are people that force you to use your brain. Trolls are people that are there to evolve you to the next level. Y'all know this. And so that's their job. The triggers, the jokers. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Sasha. How you doing?
You have been here quite a while already.
This is my third video.
Oh.
So, yes, I have to do my videos for all my channel. Do you need something? I love you. You're so cute. So you want to fight me, emotional trigger, right? And the whole thing about the snitches, like how he snitched or whatever, it's like, what does he represent? What does he represent? A snitch. Who's he snitching to? Without me trolling, she wouldn't be. Oh yeah, cryptonomics, whatever. Yeah, so like, what is a snitch? Who do they snitch to? Why do they snitch? And so understand that we're doing the reverse thing as well. I mean, we're trying to reverse the curse. So if you think about the biblical story when Lucifer fell and they were keeping secrets, they were keeping secrets. And, about laying with women, doing certain things, gang, yeah. And, bands of different legions of different people, different angelic legions and stuff like that. So this was keeping secrets and deception. But in this case, since it's reversed, it's telling secrets and airing out truth. So he would represent, like they called him the Trump of rap, the Trump of hip hop or whatever. The Donald Trump of hip hop is what they call him. So you already know he's a joker and a troll, and he's doing the reverse thing of, rebelling. So now he's snitching. Instead of keeping secrets, he's snitching. And Nicki, okay, so Nicki was blackballed from, the industry, but she's still showing you that even though I was blackballed, I'm still topic. Like, I'm still that. I'm still all of that. So she's showing you on the other side that even though you were cut off, you still have the power to outdo people. You still have the power to uplift and outdo people, even though you were put in a lower position or in a cast out position. You still have that power to rise above all that are quote unquote included and not, looked down upon. So the whole video was like the rainbow and water, which represents the new sky, the new veil and the new angles of light that are able to come through. And the reason that they were wearing a lot of red and silver and rainbow colors is because when you take off purple, when you take off the ultraviolet, or when you put on extra ultraviolet, depending on what your, how much ultraviolet light is coming in, it will depend on what color you're going to see, right? So you take off, a certain layer, you're only going to be able to see a certain color. So they're trying to show you that veils have been removed. And you have jokesters, tricksters in your midst. Okay. Okay. Right. He said Lucifer did not fall. Well, I mean, if you know the story about coming to Earth, fulfilling physical desires, making children, whatnot. It doesn't mean it's good or bad. I'm just saying. Keeping secrets versus telling secrets. Thank you, Brenda. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Help us decode California lynchings and those young men. The hangman. Yeah. Why is the Bible relevant? Because it's in code. The Bible is full code. It's not to be taken literally. It is all code. And it helps you to decode what's happening and what the plan is to see, because that's what they're using. They're using the plan and executing it. Okay. Yeah, the hangman. Think about the tarot cards for a second. You have the hangman, you have the fool, which is also like the trickster. You have the magician, also like the trickster. You have the high priestess. All these different aspects of self, of people. You have all these different iconic figures, and they're playing their role. So the hangman is sacrifice. The hangman is sacrifice, giving up something to get something even better in return. The hangman represents a sacrifice. There's one in Houston today as well. There was a man that was hung from a tree in front of some building today in Houston. So, all right. Yeah, I was watching clips of Mr. Nancy from American Gods, and he's also a trickster. And there was a clip that said, "You don't know what real sacrifice is, but you're going to find out." So the sacrifice is very interesting, because in order to have in a tarot reading, you have the hangman, depending on whether it's upside down or the other way, or right side up. It depends on what type of sacrifice is going to be made. Is this sacrifice going to be beneficial, or is this sacrifice going to be detrimental? Okay. And so in the tarot card, the hangman is always upside down with the head near the ground, right? But in real life, a hangman, the head is up. So that represents beneficial sacrifice, which exactly what it is. Thank you, Butterscotch Kisses. What is your next personal education spiritual quest? I don't have one at this moment, just to broaden what I already know so that I can speak more in depth about it. Thank you, Sprinkle Sprinkle. Thank you, Butterscotch Kisses, Sprinkle Sprinkle. So just think about this. Whether a lot of people know or think that this is all, fake, false flags, that people aren't really dying. Some people think they are. But either way, whatever you believe or think, it is getting things done. It is beneficial. It is causing change. It is creating different laws. It is bringing more awareness. It is doing all of those things. So even if it is done in evilness or out of racism, it's still creating benefits on our side of things. So it's in vain. It's in vain now. Every time a cop kills or, beats up a person, a Black person, it's in vain. It's only working against them now. It's only making things better for us, but worse for them. So now things are working in reverse for them. That every time someone dies, every time someone becomes a hashtag, that's more power transferred to our side. That's more awareness towards what's going on. That's more, people that are willing to get up and do something. That's more people deciding to start their own business. That's more people deciding to start private police or security companies. And that's more people joining financially to buy something and create, a better financial situation. So it's just what it is motivation. Okay. It's more motivation. It's waking up. It's realizing if we don't move and improve, that it will continue. So if you want something to stop, you must take your power and, make it stop, basically. When am I going on tour? Never. um so it's already over. We already won. That's right. Second nature. But we just have to go through the motions. You know how when I tell you guys, when you manifest something, to go backwards and see how you did it and how you accomplished what you accomplished, and then when you find yourself in the present, now you know exactly what to do in order to reach your goal. Well, this is kind of like that moment. It's like that Saturn moment. It's like, you know how you got there, now how do you get back, and then how do you get there again? Would I ever move back to an African nation like Nigeria? No. I would stay here and recreate this already. I would definitely stay here to recreate this place. hmm Wouldn't it be better if they got out of bondage too? Well, they're too busy worshiping white Jesus right now. I mean, you can't really help a lot of people who are just freshly being brainwashed, especially a lot of people who are bleaching their skin, a lot of people who are there's some woke Nigerians, but there's some sleep ones, okay? A Nigerian person told me, some crazy stuff because, they were never enslaved. Da, 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 da. A lot of people feel different about African Americans. A lot of Africans feel different about African Americans. So you also have to understand this. There was some lady, I think she was Nigerian, she was talking about African Americans, but she didn't understand the whole uh, struggle. So she didn't understand it. So we can't blame someone for not understanding it, but they won't understand you still. So I don't know. I mean, it could be fun to visit, but I'd rather rebuild and start something better here. I mean, think about it. If your ancestors were run off the land and were enslaved to build all this up, you just gonna leave it behind? Okay. You were supposed to get your land. Mm-hmm. They're probably doing a ritual at the BET Awards. Probably they do it everywhere. There's rituals being done everywhere, all over Instagram, celebrities. Y'all see it. Do I think spells are still needed? Not if you know, not if you understand the science behind stuff, that you can mentally do it. If you like the art of it, there's nothing wrong with it, but the light switch has been flipped and the roaches are scattering. Ooh. Mac Bay. The roaches are scattering. Okay. And a lot of people, I've noticed on Instagram, a lot of people are saying, if you post something up about what's going on, the protests, Black Lives Matter, or whatnot, a lot of people who are not Black will say, why are you being divisive? Why are you, da da da. It's not being divisive. Like y'all, a lot of people have to understand it's not being divisive. It's bringing awareness. It's bringing awareness. Y'all will stick on a red ribbon, a pink ribbon, a yellow ribbon in no time to bring awareness to something. But when it comes to something real that you can actually do something about, you don't want to, do anything about it. You just want to say it's causing divisiveness, but it's not causing divisiveness. Lying to yourself is causing divisiveness. Thank you, Astro Ash, Sprinkle Sprinkle. Thanks for all you do. Do you think a revolt is coming? No, I think, honestly, it's just going to be taken over. It's going to be allowed to be taken over. This is what has to happen because the power has to shift anyway. And in order for that to happen, change must be allowed to happen. So a lot of these things that you're seeing, like protests and people marching and people rioting, that is all being allowed. That's all being allowed because it could be ended like this, So they're allowing this to happen in order to change the dynamic and the power shift. How long do you think it will take for them to wake up? What do you know when you know a group of Black people, Nigerians, are ready to start the discussion we are having now here in the US? I think they'll have to watch us do it first. We have to lead now. We got to do this. Then, if Nigerians watch us take this back, they might want to deal with you better. You know what I'm saying? Because then what? Right? Just think about it. If Nigerians watch African Americans take the whole country and become empowered, that has to earn respect. Okay? What was your vision when the president would say invisible enemy, spirit aliens, and actual virus? Invisible enemy. Radiation. Cosmic rays. Light. Because see, while cosmic rays, radiation, and this new light enhances us, it depletes other people. It depletes the non-crystalline. That's why the whole thing I can't breathe was being put out. It's because literally When there's too much radiation and solar radiation and UVB radiation and 5G radiation bombarding the non-crystalline people, their the oxygen levels in their cells are depleted and their DNA is permanently damaged. So literally they can't breathe. And by getting a bunch of Black people to say, I can't breathe, it's almost like a prayer up into the cosmos to bring back some sort of veil over the planet, because y'all are screaming that y'all can't breathe, but y'all can breathe fine, you know? So it was a reverse of the curse. Mhm. So, Black Lives Matter is fine, but I can't breathe. It's not true. We can breathe. Um, I don't think war will happen. People are too afraid of war. hmm What if there's ethno-tribalism, ethno-Muslim tribe committing a genocide on another tribe that is known to build and bolster the economy? What should one wait for them? Um, Depending on who they are, they're gonna have to mix in with the melanin too to get some crystalline. I don't know. Well, I don't know what they're doing over there, but they got to get some too. Um, Can't bring with that mask on either. That's right. The infamil. That's right. That's, that's why Trump is not wearing a mask. If I wear a mask, it's more for other people's comfort, and I don't even cover my nose. My mask be right here, just like if you got to wear a mask to get in somewhere, I'm putting in mask right there. My nose is still out. I can breathe. Like my nose too big to fit in the mask. I tell them. Do you believe radiation affects us with melanin in our DNA? No, you absorb radiation and convert it into energy. Radiation is just light energy. So you're good. The amount that's coming in is fine. But it's only going to increase. Like, even though we've been on lockdown and quarantine for months, the rate of skin cancer has increased. People are still climbing in numbers in the skin cancer. That's due to the radiation that's coming in. So that hasn't slowed down one bit, even though we've been on quarantine. And it's going to get worse. I'm trying to tell y'all have, like, the playbook is biblical. The playbook is Book of Enoch. The playbook is all of those revelation stories. Like I told y'all, the next disease, you're going to be able to see it because it's going to actually be radiation lesions, and or skin cancers. You're going to be able to see it on people because the radiation is not decreasing, it's only increasing. How can you expect to survive if the radiation is continually increasing and you can't even, be in the sun? That's why, in order to upgrade your DNA into a crystalline light body, all that means is you need melanin. That's all it means. People are walking around talking about love and light. I'm evolving into my crystalline light body. No, you're not. Do you have melanin? Then you're not. So, do you have melanin? Then you're not evolving into anything. Your children will be the evolution of you after, your children will have light bodies if you mate with a crystalline being. That's how you get that upgrade in that DNA into your bloodline. Okay? So, how do you protect your cells from radiation? Well, basically, you got to stop doing anything that causes cancer, like meat. Crystals will help you absorb some of that radiation. A lot of the elixirs that I do, like gold, silver, platinum, will also help you. But it's not going to help you forever. It's not going to help you, forever. That's why they're trying to unite people and put, people together and end racism so that people can come back together, because they have to. Or else, a lot of people won't survive the radiation. And I'm not trying to put, this is not going to happen overnight, but each day it increases. So, and each day more and more 5G towers go up. Phones increase, people that are buying phones are increasing. So your radiation levels are getting higher by the day. Mm-hmm. Do you feel bad when you can't help everybody? I guess it's just like, I want to help everyone. I don't know how, if people are still asleep, but the place is so quiet. It's not your job to help everybody. It's just, you got to lead by example. And you can tell people who will listen. That's it. Whoever is wanting to listen, maybe they can help the other people. Maybe you're just meant to help those who are able to listen, and then they go out and do more from learning from you. So just by helping one person, you're helping several people. The sun is pulsing like it's going into supernova. Wow. Mm-hmm. T-Mobile was out all day yesterday. Mm-hmm. I heard that they were merging with Sprint. Maybe that's why. The age of mutants. Mm-hmm. And the Joker, y'all have to think about the Joker. The Joker. Who has the last laugh in the end? If the Joker represents a trickster energy or a god or divine energy, who has the laugh last at the end? Who's the joke on? Who's been being lied to so long that they don't even feel that they have to do any type of research to find the truth? No, the oppressed have been doing research. The oppressed don't only take what the teacher and the school system says as true. They go and do their own research now. There are more smart and enlightened oppressed people than there are people who are not oppressed. If you just read comments, you'll see who's teaching who. Who's getting educated about certain things now, who's learning the real history that they were ashamed to teach in schools, who's understanding why all of these things are happening. A lot of people don't know any better because their school system doesn't teach. They hide and cover up their shame, and they don't want people to know because they're embarrassed. And so people never understand what really happened. People don't understand how bad it really was because they're not teaching it. A lot of people don't even realize that Black history goes way back beyond slavery, So they don't realize that they're not in a place of, being educated on so many things that we have had to educate ourselves on because we know that we were being lied to. We were forced to educate ourselves on stuff that people were lying to us about because we knew it was a lie. We didn't have to accept it because it didn't make us feel good. So we already knew that it was a lie. Mm-hmm. You said slavery is in the Bible as well. Yeah. And sometimes, when you read a book and it is to be decoded, you have to understand what the word slavery means. What is slavery? Being bound. You can't leave. The true people that are enslaved are the people that are bound and cannot leave, even after death. Why do you think in ancient Kemet they had directions to the afterlife? And in ancient Greece, they didn't. Why do you think they don't have instructions to the afterlife and, anywhere else but ancient Kemet? Because they can go there. They can leave. They can go to the cosmos. They can go to the other side. They can quantum tunnel because they had the eumelanin and the crystalline bodies to do so, or they could stay here and influence the planet. That's why they mummified the bodies. So either way, in no other culture besides, the Incans, the Mayans, did the Aztec, even in the Vedics, they had afterlife, but not in any other European countries. They didn't have directions to the afterlife. Because once you lose your crystalline, your eumelanin, your cosmic connection, you can't get back there. You're stuck here. You're bound in chains, bound in DNA chains. You have to evolve your DNA in order to get out. That's why they named the movie Get Out. Because you have to evolve your DNA into a crystalline state to get out, to be free. But no one teaches what crystalline means, what a light body is. They think it's when your chakras start spinning and a faster frequency, da, 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 blah, blah. Well, that's being activated. That's not what a light body is. That's just your wheels or your churches or your bodies of light within your body of light being activated through your body of light, through your melanin. Okay, so if your body reflects light, how are you supposed to absorb that light into your chakras in order to activate them? You have to think about the science as well. Said just like Enoch. Right. So, people are going to be waiting on their ascension or their light body or their crystalline light body to evolve. But first, you have to evolve into a body that can absorb light first. Mm-hmm. All civilizations were Black before Neanderthals left the Caucasus and forced their DNA onto the Black lineage. Okay, Cece. So it has to go back. Now it has to reverse. It has to go back to Black. It has to go back to eumelanin. It has to go back to crystalline. Zen. Helpless like a baby. Mm-hmm. Right. Do you think this is strictly a spiritual transformation? Um, I'm already crystalline light body. If you have U melanin, you are already a crystalline light body. So when this light, when more light comes in, because the veil has been, removed, you will be activated even more. Your mind, body, soul will also evolve healthier, especially if you're eating for a crystalline body. Crystalline bodies, if you think about crystals, think of your melanin as crystals. And it's a high frequency, right? You collect crystals. You have a bunch of rocks and stones around your house. You have crystals, and you want to charge them. What do you do with them? You run them under water. You put them in the light. What do you do? Right. So you're not going to put a bunch of bad things on top of this, right? You're not going to put a bunch of bad stuff around your crystals. It's going to absorb negative energy. If you think about what you are, and if you think about who you're around, what you're absorbing, a lot of people complain about being empaths or highly emotional. It's because you're absorbing energy. When you figure out how to, instead of absorbing it, it's when you figure out how to push it out. When your chakras start getting activated, and instead of drawing stuff into you, you're going to start pushing out, collecting and drawing back in. You'll be able to change the world instead of having the world change you. So that's what being activated is partly for, is for you to start to change the world, not allowing the world to change you. So it's transmutation, and it's the reverse of being oppressed. It is being empowered. Okay. So when you feel that, when you know who you are, when you know thyself, and you know what crystalline is, and you know you are already a crystalline being, you already know you're a light body, then what? What are you going to do about it? You're going to tell other people they're light bodies too, and that they don't have to wait on a crystalline form because they already have one. They were born into one. If you have U melanin, so you're already there. You just have to know that and realize it. Half of something is knowing it. You ever been waiting on someone and you weren't sure that they were on the way, and you felt all kind of bad or sad or mad or upset, and your frequency was really low because you don't know if they're coming or not. You don't know. You're nervous, the unknown. And when you're driving somewhere, it seems like it takes forever to get there because you don't know where it is. You're just finding your way. You're not sure. But then on the way home, it's faster. The trip is so much faster. You're more confident. You know how to get home. You're in a better mood. You don't have as much anxiety because you know. Now you know. And so your frequency is higher because you know. You're comfortable. You're less, vulnerable because you know. So that's why I always tell people, know thyself. Most people, if they know thyself, they won't even have anxiety. They won't even have depression. They won't have none of that. They show us the truth in plain sight in almost everything they come out with. That's true. Movies. Like, I was telling this one person on Instagram, troll, half of the superheroes would have to be melanated in order for their powers to work scientifically. That's why at the end of Avengers, Endgame, they had to hand everything over to the black dude in Captain America. That was a sign of the power shift. When they gave that shield to the black dude and say, okay, now you Captain America, that was the shift of the power that's happened now. No, Rafia, I've never done shrooms. I don't do drugs. I'm too bougie. Da, da, da. So that was the shift in the power, and that's what's going on now. The power is shifting, but it has to make sense to the people. It has to make sense to people how the power shifted. It has to make sense to people why we were given certain powers so quickly and fast. Certain rights, certain authority, certain business, certain money, certain all of this. It has to make sense to the public as to why things are changing so rapidly. Because it's time to shift the power. And they're going to show it to you through riots, through people getting tired of oppression, through trying to end racism, to da da da. So it has to make sense mentally to people that really don't know what's going on, to people that don't know it's time to shift that power back. So this is why we're doing what we're doing. And it's allowed to be done. You got to set up the stage events. That's right. We are also dealing with magnetar stars, so we need a different mixture of crystals now. That's right. There is a star that is pulsating and sending pulse waves into the planet. There's also gamma rays and cosmic rays and neutrinos, as well as 5G, all coming to Earth right now. And all of those things are creating a new frequency, and in order to be able to thrive and survive in this new frequency, you must be crystalline. So if y'all don't know what crystalline is, it means you melanated. Yep. The catalyst has to make sense. The sacrifices have to be beneficial. Everything they do to us is backfiring and becoming our benefit. So whether you believe it's real or fake, it really doesn't matter. It is what will be seen, what will be used for the power shift to be highly accepted by everyone. Okay, so that's what it is. In order for everyone to accept the power shift, authority, wealth, among other things, given in a large capacity to Black people, it has to make sense first. It has to be justified. It has to be played out in order for people to understand it. They can't just give it to you overnight. Say, here you go, we're tired. You take it over because, we need y'all's DNA. We need y'all's DNA because, we need that crystalline upgrade. So let's get rid of racism. Sing Kumbaya, we are one, and that's what they're hoping will happen, because that's why they're wanting to tear down all the statues, want to take down Gone with the Wind movie, so that the pain and the reminders of why Black people don't want to mix with white people will go away, so that they can preserve their DNA. So They're trying to erase visuals. You say you're not giving them your melon. You don't got to give them a thing. They're trying to finesse it. You got me dripping in finesse. Anyway, you don't have to do a thing. It's just this is their setup in order to see if they can, this is the setup in order to make the youth. We are, older people are probably not going to be down with that, but the youth may or may not be down with that. So that's what they're kind of depending on, is the youth to not have to grow up in the racism, and so that some DNA can be saved. You saw, I was talking about that earlier. Signing. You saw a group of whites begging blacks for forgiveness. There was another group of whites cash apping blacks for forgiveness. Here's my cash app. Hold on, let me see. Here's my cash app. Y'all know I'm already. Love Lives Matter. Honestly, I think that's funny, but it's probably necessary. Some people might need that. I don't need it, but I'll take cash app. But I don't need. I didn't need that validation, because when you know what you know it was gonna, happen eventually. But it doesn't bring me joy. It doesn't bring my husband joy. It doesn't bring my children joy. I think understanding and educating and knowing, certain things, like if you're racist or you don't know you're racist, I think educating yourself is more beneficial than asking for forgiveness, because you can ask for forgiveness and turn around and say something stupid, and then now you have to start all over. So I say educating yourself first should be number one. You said there's no enjoyment without a bag. Look, Alchemy put his on there. Okay, the cash app, everybody get $5. Everybody putting their cash app. Start a website. Put everybody's cash app. Reparations. That's gonna be funny, huh? I say stop taxing us. Don't make us pay taxes. That's fine with me. No taxes and no mortgage. Let us pick the house we want and be done. No taxes, no mortgage. I'll take that deal. Why are Karens increasing? Because when you detox something, you do a detox, do you ever notice that you start getting pimples and stuff starts coming out that was hiding? And it's just detoxing all the Karens and the racist people, and they're just being exposed and being brought out into the forefront so that we can take notes. Everybody who feels like it's okay to be racist because Trump is pretending to be racist. He's just exposing y'all. He's just allowing you to expose yourselves, and people are taking notes. And, when he's no longer in the White House, it's too late if you're exposed and people know who you are and da da da. So it's allowing the world to see how people really feel. And when that power shifts over, people are going to be like, oh, snap, what did I do? A lot of people have lost their jobs from making comments online or doing, racist things online. A lot of people lose their jobs because just, there are people that can hack. There are people that can find your information. There are people that will call up your job. You about to lose your job. Someone tried to threaten me, because I was actually giving truth and educating people. They were upset. And so some dude was like looking all over my Facebook page trying to find out where I worked. Oops. He was going to try to make me lose my job. Don't have a job, baby. Good luck. I got a business though. Then he was like, I'm sure the people that I'm sure the people wouldn't want, I'm sure you wouldn't want your business name tarnished. I said, you want my YouTube channel? I said, most of my customers don't, already know what I talk about. And they're okay with it, So, that's why you got to own your own. That's why you got to be sufficient. Because, they can't really do nothing. How can we tell when a ritual is being performed? Can you do a video? Just as when you see code and some don't add up, it's being performed. Then you can kind of pick it apart. Anything that is to do with government and any big event is a ritual. Just know that. Any big event is a ritual. Okay? You just have to know which one it is and what it's mirroring. Sure, how can we tell when a ritual? Okay, yeah. Any event is a ritual. They push it too hard, it's a ritual. That's right. Exactly. When anything that CNN keep repeating, it means it's a ritual. Because notice they're not putting everything on CNN or the news. They're only putting certain things on there. So I wanted to do this video just to let people know what the word crystalline is really referring to. Because we have too many people out here not understanding that, some people are already evolved into their crystalline and light body because they were born that way. And some people have to get, the DNA. You said go deeper. What can you do with this crystalline power? What can you do with crystalline energy? You can connect to the universe. You can change the universe because, you can basically manifest things into reality much faster. That's how the pyramids were built. When the frequency of the earth was higher, you had beings that would create those stones right there, formed as the pyramid was being made. Because if you think about what those rocks are, what is it? Crystal, granite, silica, there's garnet in there. Those are elements from the earth and the cosmos that are being manifested into reality by crystalline beings, by the use of radiation or energy and levitation, as well as being able to manifest at will. That's how pyramids were built, from above, from the higher self, from the higher evolved. Thank you, Latrice. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Appreciate that. A white dove or a white pigeon represents the spirit. It represents a spirit. And right, they usually represent the Holy Spirit. And if you see it carrying an olive branch, it means peace. It means it has some of the DNA. So a white pigeon represents a soul. A white pigeon with an olive branch, which represents peace, means you are at peace with the universe. You have melanin. You don't have to worry about scrambling to get a light body or a crystalline body. The olive branch or the olive tree is symbolic for the eumelanated person. Just like the olive and the olive oil and the lamp and the light in the lamp represents the melanin in your pineal gland. The lamp is your light, is your pineal gland. The oil in your lamp is your melanin in your pineal gland that is not calcified. So whenever you hear or see an olive branch, that represents a eumelanated person. So does wine. Wine also represents eumelanin and blood and the DNA of a eumelanated being. So that's biblical code for eumelanin. Yeah, talking cold water, turning water to wine. Exactly. You know, that's why grapes were sacred, because they represented melanin. And you know the saying where it says you cannot put new wine into old wineskins? You can't put that. That was code for how to mix. The Bible has strict instructions on how to properly mix the eumelanin so you don't mix yourself out or mix, you know. Y'all, it's all code though. It's all metaphor, but they're telling you. Thoughts into physical material, right? So if you decode, you'll understand it because it's all science. So when they say raise the dead, they don't literally mean take someone who has died and bring them back to life. The dead in Christ raised the dead. Christ raised the dead. What does that mean? It means he took something that did not have eternal life and gave it eternal life through eumelanin, through a crystalline body. And Christ is not one person. It just means anointed. It means crystalline. So Christ is several hundreds of thousands of millions of people that are eumelanated. That's what crystalline means. Christos, Christ, anointed with eumelanin. So when they say anointed, what do you anoint someone with? Oil. Okay, so if you're saying anointed with oil, what kind of oil is in the Bible? Olive oil, oil in a lamp, oil in a pineal gland, an activated pineal gland. You know, Christ is consciousness, right? And so in order to receive light, in order to receive a light body, you must be able to absorb light, not reflect it. So a light body is able to absorb light. That's why you saw on all the ancient, Kemetic carvings, the people were thought to be worshiping the sun, but they weren't. They were absorbing light into their light bodies. So, light bodies. Light bodies. in Crystaline. People already walk the earth. Christ already walks the earth every day. Cops kill Christos. Roman soldiers arrested Jesus and beat him in the street and hung him. And the same thing, Roman soldiers, had George Floyd in the streets, but it's the reverse of the crucifixion. So instead of being vertical, it was a horizontal crucifixion. And yeah, so that's what it's all about. It's the same thing over and over. And that's why CNN and Black Lives Matter is pushing George Floyd as almost like a Christ figure, because technically he is a Christos. I mean, literally, he is a light body. He is a crystalline being. So whenever someone kills a crystalline being in that manner for the whole world to see, that is the same thing as a crucifixion. Mm-hmm. And a crucifixion is a cross. The cruce is a cross, right? And not allowing their soul to leave. Because, like I said, if you really think about the Jesus story, he was surrounded by two thieves who were criminals. Two thieves of what? What did they steal? A thief and a murderer. That's code 2. What did they steal? Are they stealing souls, melanin, DNA? Do they need help crossing the barrier? Do they need a melanated sacrifice in order to hitch a ride with? So if you have some people that need to hitch a ride on out of here, you sacrifice somebody with them. That's why they always kill the Black person first in the movie, so they can open up the gates. He was calling for his mother as well as always to the right of Christ, right? Yeah, you all remember who? Yeah, I did that in my video where I said that's some of the last words the biblical Jesus actually said was, behold, mother, your son. And then he also said, it is done. But and George Floyd said, I'm done. So, very strategic, very well planned. But in order to create change and a power shift and a different way of thinking in a fast amount of time, all this have to go down. And so whether you believe it's real or fake, it is creating real change. So that's what we have to realize. I know a lot of people are going around, oh, psyops, it's all fake. Yeah, it is, but it's creating real change to the people that don't know. And even the people that do know are still for the change. So if you are for the power shift, if you are for the change, it doesn't matter if it's real or fake. Stuff is getting done. Mm-hmm. And so right now, everything that's trying to be done against us is going to only work in reverse. Like I said, like everything will be reversed. Yeah, so the power shift is the power going to those who didn't have the power before. The power is being taken away from those who had the power and being given to those that did not have the power. That's what that whole Kanye West song Power was about. So you said, who am I really? Hence the reversal parallel universe. That's right. And the whole thing about the LGBT and this rainbow flag has nothing to do with being gay. That's another ritual too. Like y'all keep getting fooled. Whenever they bring out the LGBT stuff like that, it has nothing to do with gayness. That's why they have the rainbow flag. It represents the veil. It represents a veil. That's why their flag is rainbow. And I'm not sure. Hold on, I need to look. Is that flag the reverse rainbow or the right way rainbow? Because I need to look at it again. Okay, rainbow. Okay, so red is at the top, right? Purple at the bottom. The reverse of the chakra system, baby. So whenever you see that flag, it represents reversing the chakra system. Like that. The red is at the top and the purple is at the bottom. So your passion now comes from your pineal gland, your spirituality, your Christos, and your spirituality. You're now going to be more spiritual in your lower nature. So you're not going to be, always thinking with the wrong part of your body. Now it's going to be more of a spiritual thing. And your passion and your drive and your success is now going to be from here. All your energy and, creation is going to come from here. So whenever you see that LGBT, y'all know I don't know the letters in the alphabet. Excuse me, I'm not being rude. I'm very bad with names. They just need to make it a word. I mean, as many letters that are in that, they just need to make it a word. But honestly, whenever you see that flag, it doesn't mean, symbolically it's the reversal of the chakras. And, I'm you know what I'm for? I'm for anyone who's happy with who they are and doesn't need validation from others. I feel that people should be treated right no matter what. So I'm not, saying that people should be punished for whatever. I'm just saying people should be treated right no matter what. As long as you are a person and you deserve equal rights. I don't really care who you're sleeping with. I don't care about any of that. People should be treated right regardless. So just because I don't know all the letters, it does not mean that I look down or, I'm trying to say bad things. It's just that I can't remember all the letters. Okay. We're in a battle. We're gonna have fallen family members. But don't act like we ain't tell you so you can't play dumb when it's time to cross over from the illusion. Oh, y'all talking to each other. But our bodies are not who we are. They can destroy who we are by harming our bodies. Oh, they can't destroy who we are by. Right. Right. So, yeah. If I was famous and stuff like that and I had to be politically correct and all that, I would have all the letters together. I would have somebody, brief me, have my notes and stuff like that. And y'all know I'm just in my bathroom talking. Sorry. Did you see that Black Lives Matter group is truly run by white people? Yes, I did. Because, smart white people understand that all this will work against them. And so they're going to invest in it to make money, which is why I told everybody when all this started to invest in the stock market. Because whenever things like this happen, whenever there are police shootings, whenever there are protests, whenever there's, all these things going on, the stock market makes money. So that's why I say invest in the stock market, because they're understanding how things work now. They're like, okay, well, whenever this happens, stock market goes down, so I'm gonna sell. Then it's gonna go back up the next day or the next couple of days. If they boycott and they don't buy anything for a day, prices are gonna be low. I can buy low and sell high. So people are understanding how to exploit even the whole movement. Um, Black Lives Matter hashtag is going to get lots of advertisement. Black Life Letter hashtag is going to be used a lot. So it holds a lot of energy. It holds a lot of value. People are going to be making T-shirts. People are going to be saying it. People are going to be posting it everywhere. People are going to be donating to that charity, which only has to give 20%. So, of course, people are going to invest in it. Oh, lie. Of course, people are going to invest in it. So, it doesn't matter how they're going to make their money on the back end. It just matters if the change is real and if the people are ready to shift the power instead of being put back to sleep in order to hope a system that was created to oppress them works if they just vote for a new slave master or a new, what you call it, an overseer. Or if they can change the overseer's mind, or if they can change the system of how slavery works. That's why the whole thing has to be recreated and the power has to totally be shifted. You can't build over something old like that. You have to totally renew it. Totally redo it. So did you see that the funds for jailed protesters received $35 million in donation, but only $22K went to the bill? Yeah, I saw that. I told you. Charities only have to donate 20%. Do your research. Legally, if they're calling themselves a charity organization, they only have to donate 20% to whoever's in need after paying off all their employees. Now, who knows how many employees there are? Someone else can start a new one at any time. Instead of just latching on to that one, you can start a whole new one. You said I need to get into charity work. Exactly. Fundraising. Right. So I didn't donate to it, so I don't care. Donate to me. I'll put that money better to use. Donate to the families of the people. But that's bound to happen. People rely on people's ignorance during times like this. That's how they take advantage of it. Yeah, you can do your riots and protests, but I'm still going to make millions off of your ignorance because I know how this works. So, start your own hashtag and movement. Aim at something else. Does it really matter? Crystaline lives matter. Christ's lives matter. That'll get them. Name it something that's going to wake people up. But you see what they did. You see how people have already started to realize that. And the founder or the Black lady that was behind it came up missing and then dead. And that was trying to tell people, don't you go out and start your own hashtag movement, or this may happen to you, even though it is ran by white people. So that was almost like, okay, well, this is ours. We sewed this up. We're going to make money all through this movement, through Black Lives Matter. We painted it on the street. And, if you try to start it or you try to interfere with it, this may happen to you too. It's just to keep people afraid. But still, I'd start a whole nother one. Just start this. If everybody started one, they can't stop everybody. There should be a local one for every city anyway. There should be a local campaign or hashtag for every city anyway. Not just for one corporation, just for every city. It's time we take our hashtag back. I say change it to Christ's Lives Matter. Christos Lives Matter. Christ's Lives Matter. What do you mean Christ's lives? Crystaline Black people. Duh. Then they'll be like, well, what does that mean? Then you can educate them on who you are. Somebody should do it. I'm gonna start putting that hashtag. Start with the hashtag. They'll think they're supposed to be Christian. Christian literally means Christos. Not Christian as far as the fake version of it, to avoid the real version of it. The whole religion was started to avoid the real Christian. And they were given an icon and a religion versus the truth. They'll put the truth in code, and if you wake up and figure it out, great. If you don't, you'll never know. So it's basically denial of the true Christian and Christ people on the planet would be to start a church and worship a statue and one being and have you think that is one person to worship, when even in the Bible it says, I never left you. I am still here with you. I am right here. Look around. Even on Bruce Almighty, you had Morgan Freeman as God mopping a floor. You had Jesus as a carpenter who built everything. Who are these people? So people are running around talking about, I'm Christian, I love the Lord Jesus, amen. I'm going to be a crystalline Christ consciousness person. I'm going to heaven. You know. So when they realize that the very Jesus and Christ that they've been praying to, oh Lord Almighty Jesus, in the name of God, that they've really been talking to us the entire time, they're going to feel real dumb. So, I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see. And the show Lucifer, the Black Sun, Amidel was God's favorite. The self-law and master. I'm cracking up. They are not ready for this. And the Northern Cross constellation guide. Okay. I'm reading all this one. Yeah. So what God was one of us, right? If in our God, Yeshua means Joshua. Arm, leg, arm, Allah. Man. God body, that's right. Light body, God body, crystalline body, black body. We are the saviors of their soul. Exactly. And a lot of people don't even realize that in order to have a soul, you must be able to receive a soul. And you cannot receive a soul if your frequency is not high enough. You will only get a spirit, an animated spirit. Basically, you will only get, that's why they always have these robots. You only get artificial intelligence. So in an aspect, you're not getting the full version. You're only getting like artificial intelligence as far as a spirit form, like Siri. You're only getting Siri. So Siri is not it's like on a level higher than Siri. It's like you'll get a spirit, you'll get a consciousness, you'll get a mind, you'll get all this stuff, but you won't have a soul. And the difference between a soul and not having one is being able to connect with higher source and become part of higher self and the source again in the cosmic aspect. Siri is short for Series B, subconscious mind. Okay. And see, the thing is, I don't say this to be mean and laugh at people for being brainwashed and not being told the truth. I say this because no one else will tell you. And I would want someone to tell me if I were in your shoes. And your people will not even tell you. The people that know, they will not even tell you. You said today Neil deGrasse Tyson was chatting with Sophia on Star Talk. And I saw someone sent that to me. I have to watch it. Yeah, so that's all that I'm saying. I'm saying I want somebody to tell me so I don't walk around and, without knowing. Have you noticed the moon has an effect on our bodies? How about spirit? The moon is like the light version of the lighter version of the sun. It's like the muted version of the sun, the reflection of the sun, the less harsh version of the sun. So, if you are not able to absorb the light through your light body in the daytime from the sun, you can go out into the moon and get something, but it's not going to be the same, But even if you are a light body, you can also still get stuff from the moon. You can get it from the sun and the moon. What is God anyway? Is it a deity? I would just say it's a consciousness. I mean, there are gods who would claim godhood because they have higher technology, but source energy is not the same as a god. You know, a god would just have higher technology and be smarter than you. Thank you, Anita. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Thank you for the confirmation. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Thank you. Whatever that confirmation was. So there were different gods in the Bible. There were different, because they said, don't worship any other God before me. So that means there are more than one. But those are basically higher versions of what humans were back then. So if someone came from the future or from a higher dimension and had more technology and was smarter than you and could show you how to do things and have technology, you would consider them some type of god. If you had no idea what an alien was, you know, if there was no ancient alien show and something just came out the sky, you would say, oh, that is a god, right? So when they use the word gods in the Bible, they're not talking about a source energy. They're talking about another type of being or higher evolved being or higher, being that had more knowledge and technology. I mean, think about this. The movie Avatar, same thing. I don't believe they are from the future. They are from, yeah, I'm just saying anything that is more advanced to people would be considered a deity or something that they would look up to. Just like if aliens landed tomorrow. Let's say aliens, let's put it in our viewpoint. Let's say aliens came and they had all this advanced technology. Do you think people would start worshiping aliens or start, submitting to aliens? Do you think they would want to learn from aliens and be like, peace, we love you, teach us your ways, help us? Do you think that they would start asking aliens for stuff? Like they would a god or a deity? Probably. So that's all that is. People asking more advanced, people or beings for things and help. Mm-hmm. People will submit that you have to worship you, and many are looking for a savior and want to destroy. Mm-hmm. Exactly. See? Technically, you're going to the underworld, subconscious, and divine mind source, the great mother, triple blackness, the void, the 13, the black dot, which is the higher place. Mm-hmm. Billy talks about when we invaded on off the grid civilization, they thought we were gods. Yep. Yeah, I know we're all gods, but there are beings that are higher evolved and have a higher consciousness than we do. And that's why a lot of politicians and people think they're like deities as well because they're smarter than the dumb people that sit around and vote for them. So, to people, politicians are their gods. They're demigods anyway. Mm-hmm. That's why I don't vote. Vote means to vow to a deity, or to vow, or to submit, to promise. Thank you, Brenda. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Siri is Iris in reverse, interestingly. Yeah, sure is. I see. That's why, because it's looking at us. Aliens are more intelligent, so they want to please us if it's... Aliens are more intelligent, so why they want to please us if it's not beneficial? I don't think they... I think aliens have been here. I think they're just watching from a different dimension. And they definitely interfere and call shots. So some are even hybrids and are walking right among you and you don't even know. Okay. You said, can you block Marie Wesley? Good. She keep putting E. Poor thing. She might have a tick. Hold on. Anyway. Yeah. There's a hybrid alien humans here. There's hybrid. They're already implementing evolution through DNA. And now it has to also happen through, crystalline beings as well. I'm decoding your style today. Your roses, or are you going to decode my style? Thank you. Appreciate it. We are gods. How many levels of gods do you think there are? There's always somebody smarter than you with more technology, with more of an advanced consciousness. You might be the god of someone lower than you. A politician may be the god of someone who's a crazy fool trying to stand in line for 20 hours to vote for them. A celebrity could be a deity or a demigod to their fan. So we are all gods. We're just at different levels, in different levels of consciousness. Okay. Because I would not stand in line for more, even if I did vote. If I have to stand in line for more than 5 minutes, I'm not voting. I don't do lines. Because that start to feel like cattle and sheep. I changed my reservation from a hotel because they didn't have valet parking. I don't do all of that. Either you pull up and get this car, or I'm not gonna do this. Oh, the valet is off today. Well, then I'm changing my reservation. Some people think that they are, special and don't have to do certain things. They won't do certain things. Thank you, Brenda. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Check out Chloe and Haley's new album, Ungodly Hour. Okay, I'm gonna check it out. I've seen one of their videos. It's all coded. All the stuff is always coded. That's why I'm like, thank you for the donation, Sprinkle, sprinkle. Everything anyone puts out right now is definitely going to be coded. It's all saying the same thing over and over. So yeah, I don't. If I have to walk, I'm not going. I remember when I used to work when I was younger, the employees' parking lot was across the street, and I would have to, basically have to walk across a busy street at night because I had a night shift when I was a teenager. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna park right in the front. I'm not crossing no street. Whatever. And even though they told me I was supposed to park over there, I was like, I can't park over there. Why? Why can't you park over there? I have a twisted ankle. Make up something, but I didn't park over there. So God can be in any race. Okay, let me explain it for the people in the back. Hold on one second. To some people, Donald Trump is a god. Okay? To some people, he is not a god. To some people, he might be the devil. To some people, Beyonce is a goddess. To some people, this person over here is an ascended master. To some people over here, this person, who do you think you are? Who do they think they are? Who do you treat them like? Is a god just someone that is just more intelligent and advanced than you and has more power than you? Perhaps. Okay? Anybody can label themselves a god or a goddess. It doesn't mean anything. The source energy does not need recognition. It just is. So if you're trying to figure out the difference between God, a God, and someone who thinks they are a God, that means source energy does not need recognition. It just is. Air don't need to be worshipped. Okay. Ether does not need to be worshipped. Dark matter does not need to be worshipped. It don't care. It doesn't care. A person with knowledge, information, technology, and advanced thinking could be thought of as a god to someone that is less than them because they can actually change the entire life of this person just by their knowledge. Therefore, they could be considered a god to that person, not to this person over here who's smart as well and just as smart as that person who is seen as a god over here. So it just depends on who is worshiping you and who is claiming you as a god. You know what I'm saying? People can create gods and make up gods and draw gods and invent gods all day long, just like they did Jesus. So it is an aspect of a person. It is a symbolic, aspect of people. It is an icon of what is walking around every day, So we've seen these totally advanced people that are super smart and can do stuff that normal people can't do. We don't worship them as gods. They're just put in high positions to do important jobs and stuff like that. But, do you think our race will ever defeat white supremacy? Our race will basically absorb all white people. That means the whole world will be brown. Eventually, anyway. The world will be forced to mix due to radiation increasing on a daily basis. So, of course we will. And it is a false sense of superiority. It is a false sense of superiority because you don't have to lie, steal, and murder in order to defend true superiority. You don't have to do that. It just is. You know what I'm saying? It just is, and it is accepted because it is. You don't have to defend it if that's what it really is. It's in Kemet in Africa where definition comes from. They're not higher than us, consciousness. Okay, well, It's just some people it is higher than them. And when I say higher, I don't mean like higher, I mean advanced. They have more knowledge, yes. Um, fear of the blood clot. Mm-mm-mm. Will Asians be wiped out as well? Think about how the first people looked. You know, if every race on the planet mixed together, we would just all be brown. The dominant gene is black. Okay, that's what it is. Sorry, no shade. You're not mixing my blood with no. Oh man, y'all keep getting mixed up. Why would you have to? If you don't want to, you don't have to. You're fine. I'm sure people will. The sleep people will not know any better, or the people that don't care, or the people that don't have mercy. Some people have mercy on me. Have mercy on me. It's going to come to that point where when radiation increases, sperm count lowers. So, if certain people cannot reproduce with their own sperm, they're going to have to go to a sperm with a higher count who can absorb radiation in order to procreate. That is just the science of it. So, maybe you can sell your sperm. If not, then keep it to yourself. Hey. But the point is, it doesn't matter if you want to or not. You don't have to. People keep getting the wrong message from me. You don't have to do a thing. They do. Okay, let me reiterate that. It's like giving clothes away. It's like giving clothes. That's another thing that they're using. Homelessness. It's a code for not having melanin. So it's like saying, I'm not giving my clothes to the homeless. You don't have to. You can keep your clothes. Somebody else will give clothes to the homeless if they want to. It's kind of like that. Okay? And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm just trying to put the point across because everybody want to come over here and hear what they want to hear. And I'm trying to tell y'all, just listen. Do what you choose to do. You don't have to do a thing. If you've read the book of Enoch, you would totally understand. It is up to you what is done. That what? You said hotel marriage. And there are still remnants of melanated Aboriginal Asians in place, like the Philippines and Vietnam. You will find photography of That's what I'm saying, And when everybody mixes, that's what people are going to look like. They're going to look like the largest populations are definitely going to be Asian and brown. If my family is dark and I'm super white, if I had a child with another darker skinned person, will they most likely be light or dark? I don't know. It depends on how many generations you have. Like that's why they give you specific ways to mix in the Bible. Like literally, the Bible is about getting melanin. The whole Bible is about stop worshiping false idols and understanding who you are and to get people to recognize who you are and for them to mix in properly. It talks about, oh, you can't mix in if you have this much and not this much. I don't know. It's just read it. If you know how to decode, you'll see it. The whole Bible is race mixing. The whole Bible is how to get melanin. The whole Bible is stop worshiping false idols when you already know what you need is melanin. The whole Bible is about that. It's about all of it. If you know how to decode and understand the word meanings and etymology and all that kind of stuff, you will see. And the metaphor, the whole Bible from start to finish is about race mixing. And if you read the book of Enoch, it says, you will be the elect. They call the crystalline the elect because we are electric, electromagnetic, right? They call us the elect. The elect will be in charge, or the elect will be in power. The elect will choose what is done. Da, 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 da. So it is up to you. You don't have to do a thing. You know what I mean? Unless you choose to. It's up to you. What do you think? But right. If you have brown on your palm, if you have eumelanin in the lines on your hand, you are eumelanated. You have eumelanin. If it's, yeah. That's why in the story of the return of Jesus or the resurrection of Jesus, they asked to see his hands or the marks on his hands. Let me see your hands so that I know it's you. You know, it wasn't the same Jesus. It was a Christos. I'm back. I'm a Jesus. I'm a Christos too. Because back then in the high desert, everybody was, a little tan and brown. But if you don't have that eumelanin and you just burnt, there's a difference. Says she looks drunk today. I haven't drank in like almost 2 years. But thank you. Guess that means I look happy. It's definitely way more Africans than Europeans and whites in there, right? And if you look at every country, especially, countries that are near brown countries, a lot of the people are moving there and they're turning to, brown countries. So, right. I noticed in London, or a lot of people say, or in England, a lot of people are from Africa or they are from somewhere else. I know that the Muslim culture is large there. I know that African culture is large there. I know there's a lot of mixed people there. So, whenever they show video, I only see like just a lot of different races. I don't just see all white anymore. I see so many different races. When do I have time for Jane? When I have time for Jane. Stop asking the same questions. I know, right? When speaking about race, what do you think the term Pangea? Think of the term Pangea. When all the lands were one, and then they separated. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm sipping on water. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do no shrooms. I don't do no drugs. Everybody always thinks somebody gotta be high. Just because y'all gotta be high don't mean everybody gotta be high. Maybe I'm just high on life. Mhm. The mirror universe, we are already here. The change has begun. Everything is happening in reverse, and we're taking it back to the right side. We're already here. You said Pisces naturally high. You said you think the mark of the beast is a chip. No, that's not what it means either. A beast is something huge. A beast is something big. That's what it means. Anything big, there's a mark of something big on you. You have the mark of the beast, depending on what beast you are speaking about. What is the biggest beast? The cosmos, right? That's the biggest thing. Who has the most dominant DNA? The crystalline people, right? That's a beast. Who has the highest and biggest frequency? You melanated people. That's the beast. A beast is something big. That's what it means. You have the mark of the beast. The biggest beast that I know, you said 666 carbon, electron, neutron, and proton. Exactly. So that's all that is. It's not a microchip. Microchip is plastic, crystal, and some stuff. The mark of the beast, of the, which means only one, would be humility. And then it also talks about other beasts as well, like the great harlot will ride, what did it say? The great harlot will raise her cup and ride the beast or whatever. So, what's the great harlot? Mm-hmm. I mean, what y'all think is bad is really good. It's not good. It's not good for some people, but it's good for you. So the great harlot that raises her cup and rides the beast. What is that? That was Venus. That was the kiss of Venus when the sky was all red and that energy that came through and came down, rode in on the beast on the ocean or the sea or the sky. The sky is the sea because it's plasma and it's made out of water vapor, clouds, gas, and then the plasma. So when Venus passed by and all that red came on our sky, that was the great harlot, with her cup, her chalice, and released. She will make me a moderator. I got somebody to block in these comments. Who needs to be blocked? Mm-hmm. If you believe in special markings on people, for example, if someone has a gap in their front teeth, they will be successful. If you think so, then so be it. Whatever you believe, you're just going to manifest it. So even if it's not true, if you believe it enough, everything in your mind and body will think that you will be successful because you have a gap in your teeth. So you're just going to make moves in order to be successful. It's all in your mind, you know. Um, sometimes people used to make up stuff to help people over their, insecurities or whatnot. Like, oh my gap teeth. Oh no. Oh, gap teeth mean don't you mean you're gonna be successful? Okay, stop worrying about it. Basically, people tell people what they need to hear when they need to hear it. Just like on all those cartoons when you were little. Oh, it's my lucky book or my lucky pen, and it brought me luck. Oh, I switched the pen out. It wasn't the lucky pen. It was you all along. You didn't need the pen. You know, it's what you make it. Mhm. Mhm. Um, I wish I could talk to my family on the other side. Then talk. Right. It's whatever you tell yourself it is. That's right. Sleep paralysis is exactly what it sounds like. Your body is paralyzed in your sleep because your astral body has not returned to your physical body fully, and you just happen to wake up. Mhm. It's like when you wake up in surgery and can't move, it's the same thing. Some people that actually happen to. It's strange nobody is there to help you. It feels like I'm all I got, no hard feelings, I guess. It would be hard but possible if you're homeschooled. Oh, y'all talking to each other. Okay, yeah. I hope homeschooling is optional now because I don't want to send my kids back to school. I don't want to send them back to school. School is terrible. My kids were so happy without school. The school, the school system sucks as a whole. They teach lies. So anyway, I just hope that they don't have to go back to school or it's optional. They see they hating, but they still watching. Who hating? Mm-hmm. Thank you. They have to go and take exams weekly. Mm-hmm. Wendy's killing. Why they keep targeting Wendy's? Wendy's. I told y'all. Look at Wendy. She got red hair. Okay, why do you think they keep burning up Wendy's? They're trying to tell the RH negative people they better come on and mix in, baby. Okay. It's gonna get hot. Thank you, Latrice Sprinkle Sprinkle. Appreciate that. I said, dang, that's their tone. Wendy's is getting hot. Stuff is on fire. Wendy's. Come on. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Yeah, like honestly, look at Harry and Meghan Markle. He's redhead. He had to mix in. He split from the royal family, came to America. So basically, sure he's RH negative. What if you have melanin but is RH negative? You're good. Don't even worry, you're good. How to prevent unwanted forced encounters? What do you mean? Like in the astral realm? Learn how to lucid dream. Sometimes those forced unwanted encounters are to wake you up into lucid dreaming, which means you can control your dream. Yeah, Tyler Perry was hosting Meghan and Harry at his estate. Yeah. Wendy's probably supports a lot of BS people and through these trails, right? I predict that Williams will be in The Last King. Who's Williams? Who knows? Honestly, nobody takes that royal family seriously anyway. Like, we don't see them as kings and queens. Because if you knew how the true kings and queens and pharaohs were appointed, you would know that they weren't royal at all. Alchemist TV Power Planet. Oh no. Yeah, I'm not rich. Don't worry about me. I'm just a poor broke person that works on YouTube. You got me. Okay. Don't worry about the person. The name is the ritual. Sheesh. Right. Exactly. Yeah. So the name, of course, decode that. But how pharaohs in the ancient days were appointed was not the same way that royalty is appointed. Okay. What's a kind to a god? What's a god to another? Oh yeah. That song. No Church in the Wild. How are the pharaohs appointed? By the gods. They also had to have the direct bloodline. The direct bloodline of the gods. The original gods. Not the fake god, the original. So they were often hybrids of the original higher beings. You know what I mean? So, so there's no way that the royals that are in place now are really royal as far as what royal means. They're just mocking, just like when people worship Jesus or start a religion based on melanin and they just name it Christ and Jesus and some other stuff. It's a mockery of the truth. That's why Harry renounced, I don't want to be that no more because that's fake. It's not real. I don't want to be a part of your lies anymore. Because it's like taking away from the true royalty on the planet. And when that time comes, when that power shifts, you don't want to be associated with that at all. The knockoff version, right? You don't want to be associated. at all with fake royalty. What should spiritual people focus on at this time of chaos? It's not a time of chaos, really. It's a time of awakening. You should focus on what is happening, why people are trying to end racism. Why do you think they're trying to shift the power and end racism? Because people are going to need to come together literally. There has to only be one type of people on the planet in order for everyone to thrive and survive. So, chaos comes order, correct? They're trying to awaken you to realize power's getting ready to shift. And I think we should focus on teaching our kids what is coming so that they can make the smart decisions in life. Right? Raise your frequency, eat healthy, stay healthy. Because as radiation increases, your diet is going to have to get really good. They're trying to implement a virtual homeschool in Memphis. That's good. I have got to read the Book of Enoch. Yep. Very detailed in that book. We're already almost halfway through Enoch. Like, we're almost at the end of that Book of Enoch. What's coming that we need to tell our children? It will be revealed very soon. I think, too many people know the answer already. I just feel that people take it the wrong way when I say it. But I don't know what you look like because you have a blank profile. But if you have eumelanin, you teach your children who they are, teach them about themselves and their own history. If you don't have eumelanin, if you already have children, you need to teach them that all must become one. They need to maybe marry someone with some eumelanin so that they can preserve their DNA, because the radiation is increasing daily. That's what I would teach them. Okay. Alchemist TV power planet. They just want attention. That's all. You know how the bad kid in the class acts up because they need attention? That's him. Right. We can just make our kids aware of things, but they're probably more spiritual and advanced than we are, especially the new generation. True. Ezekiel and Enoch were related. I think Ezekiel was his dad. Okay. Or was his son? One of those. I have to read it to remember again. Go to bed, Roger, at Alchemist. Right. Y'all, I think it was Erykah Badu said, I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. Some wild-willed images. Ezekiel saw some wild-willed images, right? The wheels in the sky. You don't know what that is. They also talked about, like in the Book of Enoch, machines that created weather. They also talked about machines that started fires from the heavens. Go read the Book of Enoch. It has lots of technology in it. Talks about machines that made it cold. Talks about machines that made it rain. Talks about being reborn into new bodies. Yeah. Talks about the elect and the change of power, what's to come. So I definitely would read that because that's what's happening now. You want to read something old that's happening right now, read the Book of Enoch. He talked about the windows that the weather comes in. Yeah. Enoch is more of a scientific, book on all these weather machines, the technology, and things that are coming, the power shift. That's everything that's happening now. I read that like 2 years ago. And I was, telling people about it for a long time. Now it's actually being executed. You said because Enoch is Metatron. What's the code of the movie E.T.? I haven't seen that in so long. I don't remember. All I know is E.T. was brown. Okay. Okay. What do I think about people that say their life is already pre-written, therefore whatever is meant to happen will happen to you? Can we change the pre-written outcomes? If past, present, and future don't exist, how's your life pre-written? Did you write it? Did you rewrite it? Did you rewrite whatever you wrote? How many times did you rewrite it? A movie is pre-written, but the script is rewritten all the time throughout the process. So, yes and no. You could do what you want. Is there such thing as choice, or are we watching time? Yeah, everything is choice. The choices that you're given, There's a choice you will make and a choice you will take. If you don't like any of the options or choices you have, create one. So for some people who don't create their own choice, they have to pick between the choices they're given. And there's some people that will make their own choice. Miss Universe said we choose to be Black. What do you think? Yeah, I definitely think so. Because think about this. It's a reward. It's actually, if you read the Book of Enoch, if you read and decode biblical stuff, it is your connection to source. It is your frequency. It is your way out. It is your ticket out. It is your freedom. It is your divinity, actually. So, you said the Mayans had grills. Yep. Where's the radiation coming from? Where isn't it coming from? You should ask. It's coming from everywhere. Coming from inside the planet, outside the planet, coming from 5G. It's coming from the sun. It's coming from gamma rays, neutrinos, and cosmic rays. And the pulsar from a star that is a pulsar star. So it's coming from so many different places at one time, all at the same time. Plus, all your phones and gadgets and computers are also contributing to it. So, and each day it increases daily, slowly but surely, increases on a daily basis. Will radiation evolve us? If you are able to absorb and convert that radiation into energy, yes, it will. The radiation is coming from melanated light beings, that too. Would you say it's possible to go without sin for a long time? If you know what sin really is. Sin means without and also means the moon. So is it possible to go without eumelanin and be as the color of the moon for too long? Not in this day and age, because like I said, radiation is increasing, solar energy is increasing, and so what they call climate change is going to force people to become brown. Sin represents lack of melanin. The woman says, I'm always radiating. The women say you're always radiating. Good for you. That's a good compliment. What happens to the innocent or mentally ill people? What's their choice? I don't know what their choice was. Maybe, I don't know what their choice was. I can't tell you that. Maybe their parents, maybe they chose their parents. You know how they say you choose your parents? Maybe they chose their parents because they knew they would be taken care of in the state that they were in. And perhaps they needed to learn and evolve spiritually from that state in which they are in. And that's what they chose. The sky isn't red anymore. The sun does a lot up there, right? Now, last time I saw was purple and pink. Right. What is your advice to pregnant women during these times? What will the 5G and what's going on spiritual planet? I've got like 3 pregnant friends. If your pregnant friends are you melanated, I don't really think they have to worry too much, but I would definitely keep like computers off my belly, and like devices. Maybe wear like some crystals to kind of absorb any of that, But I don't think they really have too much to worry about. What can you do about the black man and the domestic abuse and killing black women at these times? I don't know. There's white men, Hispanic men, Asian men doing the same thing to their women. So, I mean, what are they doing? Get a knife, get a gun, fight back, shoot, do what you gotta do, baby. The mind is all. The universe is mental. Right. Self-defense. I mean, I thought that was common sense. Subconscious programming is the reason she's in that position. If source doesn't necessarily care about moral behavior, how do I ensure my ka makes it through our mental? If you don't, if your heart, if your soul, if you don't have any guilt about what you've done, and you can justify it for the greater good, you're thinking on a higher frequency. You know, just like, do you feel guilt for stepping on an ant? Some people do. Some people don't. So it just all depends on how you vibrate, how you feel about it. Kind of like you grade yourself. Sometimes you're your own worst critic, and sometimes you're your best cheerleader. How do you feel about yourself? Mhm. Right. Everybody beat their wife. Everybody who married somebody that allows them to beat them beats them. You don't allow it, it won't happen. You got you a gun, you got you a knife, you got you some poison, you know. I really feel that people have plenty at their fingertips to solve their own problems. You know. Did you see the crystal that Nikki has on the Trolls video? It was captivated by. He was captivated by. I need to look because I didn't pay attention. I need to watch it again. There's too many distractions in that video, and y'all know it. I gotta watch it. I'm a narcissist, so guilt doesn't exist for me. That's right. It won't exist. Sometimes I'm scared that I'm not teaching my babies right. I think we got to get out of fear and start learning more knowledge so that we are confident on what we are teaching our children. You know, get out of the fear, get into the knowledge, and teach them more and more. There's not one thing. The more you learn, the more you have to learn. Gotta stop watching She-Ra and stuff. Then stop. There's only two emotions, fear and love, right? Like you don't have to teach, like so many people think that they have to teach their kids stuff at 2 years old and 3 years old. They're not going to remember a thing that you're teaching them except their name, okay? And how to go to the bathroom. If you want to teach your children, wait till they can understand and remember and retain the knowledge, like maybe 4 or 5, you know, when they're at school age. That way, they're going to absorb the knowledge fast and understand it. Because if you just teach them at a young age, all they're doing is memorizing it. They're not actually understanding it. And they already know this stuff, like subconsciously, they already know this stuff. So I think definitely start teaching them when they're able to understand and learn, not just memorize. Right. Just make sure it's the age where they can actually understand. I teach my children metaphysics at their level. Yeah. Well, you know, you can teach, you know, alphabet shapes and all that kind of stuff using metaphysics as well, but you know, it's basically the same thing as sacred geometry and stuff. But yeah, just make sure that they can understand. Like if you're teaching them decoding, how many dimensions can babies see? They be staring at stuff we can't see. Yeah, they can see into that other realm. It's probably the fourth dimension. Because when I was young, I basically saw into the fourth dimension. How you would describe the fourth dimension is what I would see. So it's probably the fourth dimension. One of them, at least. Children naturally use their imagination and cast spells. True. Some of these kids have been here before. Right. Cats, too. Exactly. It's about the people in a child's environment, too, because kids will learn behavior. Right. You actually can learn from them. And I learn from my kids all day, especially when they were younger. And I recorded a lot of the stuff that they were saying, too. And it literally, is knowledge. Anyway, so I gotta go, but thank y'all for tuning in. I just want to clarify what your DNA evolving into the crystalline light body actually means so that people can stop saying that if they're not living that. Also said what Christ and Christos really meant. It means melanin, anointed with melanin, so people can stop, living under that false sense of worshiping something. It's not what you think it is. If you know how to decode, if you have the knowledge, you will figure it out just by reading the words. So, Sheila, good night, y'all. Have a great evening, afternoon, morning, whatever it is where you are. Thank you for everybody who donated. I really appreciate y'all. Sprinkle to everyone. Y'all hit the like button if y'all want to help me out. Hit that like button. Tell your friends. You're crystalline light body already, baby. That's what you are. Taking care. Just protect your children until they can remember right. Always protect your children. And y'all have a great night, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.